Dance is a universal art of communication. It allows people to express themselves in a unique way. There are many styles of dances varying from ballet to hip hop. Ballet is the foundation of dance that began in the Renaissance era around 1500 in Italy. This is Catherine de' Medici, who was married to French King Henry II. They introduced ballet to the court life in France. King Louis XIV requested for ballet terminology to be all in French during the 17th century. This is a portrait of what court dance looked like in the Renaissance era. People would perform and entertain the royal family. This right here shows a man and a woman dancing while the royal family and guests are being entertained. Here you have a portrait of a couple that is dancing in front of the audience, and they are dancing in a courtyard. You can see children in the background enjoying the show, and as you can tell, the dancers have their feet in a position that in dance they have specific positions that will be explained in the next slide. Here you see the 5 positions of dancing: first position, second position, third position, fourth position, and fifth position. This was used in dance technique to help the dancers to become better and stronger dancers, and also to prevent injury when they would perform. This next photo shows a corps de ballet, which means that it is a bunch of dancers in a group that are not soloists. And here are females that are performing in a ballet performance. This is Mrs. Andre Harper. She was my ballet teacher when I started ballet at the age of 5. I have known this woman for the past 35 years. She is the reason why I became a dancer and a dance teacher, and she is currently working at Champion Studios. Here you have Misty Copeland as the first African American female principal dancer for the American Ballet Theater. She has appeared in commercials and has performed for great artists such as Prince. She is not only a great dancer, but a great role model for young women and little girls. Fred Astaire is a famous tap dancer from the early 1900s. He began dancing at a very young age, along with his sister, in vaudeville, and is a huge role model for many dancers of today's era, such as Paula Abdul, and he was also a big role model for Jerome Robbins. This is Savion Glover. He began to teach tap dance at the age of 14. His teacher and his role model was Mr. Gregory Hines, who was also a very famous tap dancer in the early 1980s. This is Martha Graham. She was a modern dancer in the early 1900s and was known as one of the pioneers of dance because she was able to break away from the ballet world and gave dancers the opportunity to dance barefoot and in loose clothing. Here we have Alvin Ailey dancers performing contemporary dance. The type of music that Mr. Alvin Ailey used in his choreography was gospel music. A lot of their performances had mainly African American dancers, but had a few Caucasian and Asian people performing with them. This photo shows a contemporary modern dance duet. It is a male and a female, and when dancers dance together, they must be able to complement each other's powerful and strong physique when they perform. Dancers are very strong athletic people who work for many hours every day to rehearse for future performances. Here you have a female contemporary modern dancer. She has a strong and athletic physique, which is required to be a great dancer along with discipline. It takes 10 years to become a great dancer, and you must be disciplined and willing to work hard. We have Martha Graham and Eric Hawkins that were not only dance partners but also husband and wife. They danced contemporary modern dance, and their method was to get away from the strictness of ballet as far as attire and how they would perform. They were able to freely express themselves more than they did in ballet. West Side Story is a famous musical that came out in the early 1960s. It was based on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Jerome Robbins was the choreographer. This is one of my favorite movies because of the dancing and the technique that portrays in the movie. Here we have Breaking. It was a dance movie that came out in the 1980s and it was based on breakdancing. This is where I learned my breakdancing skills and it was a lot of fun to watch this movie as a child and dance along with the actors. These are the Jabbawockeez. They are an all-male hip-hop group that perform all around the world. They are known for wearing their white mask as part of their costume. They also had their own show in Las Vegas, Nevada, where they would perform nightly. This is Michael Jackson. He is known as the King of Pop and is a well-known singer, dancer, and choreographer. He was one of the most famous dancers in the world, and one of his famous signature moves was the moonwalk. Thriller was one of his most famous dances and videos that people today still watch and perform. This is Paula Abdul. She's a famous choreographer and dancer who started off as an LA Lake girl. She was a cheerleader. She has choreographed for many artists such as Janet Jackson, Outkast, and was also a judge in American Idol. She is still active today, still does choreography for a lot of young kids, and does dance competitions.